Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Mage the Ascension the Victorian Age. This is Chapter 9, The Crossroad of Prophets and Thieves. I am your storyteller, Kelly. I use he and him as my pronouns, and folks, we are on the train! I'm very excited about being on the train. It is a good train. It's going to get us where we need to go, eventually. If you're tuning in for the first time, you have missed a lot of plot, but the 30-second explanation is that the characters here are traveling on their way to India to find someone who can help them with a mystery box from the future, and are doing so by train. They're taking a very fancy train that they probably shouldn't be on because technocrats made it. But hey, the least likely to find them in plain sight, right? That's the theory. So who would be bold enough to take a train made by technocrats? And so y'all are making your way across Egypt, up into Jerusalem, over through Persia, and down into India in about a 7 to 10 day trip. It's going to be wonderful, and nothing bad has happened at all. Last episode, you actually managed to board the train, met a bunch of people who are traveling with you over this week and change, and you do not know it was made by technocrats, to answer in the chat. Although it'll be pretty obvious pretty quick.
So you're asking why we're going. That's because you were asking why we were why we'd go on a train made by technocrats. I'm like, I don't think we know. I feel like if we knew, we might make other decisions in our life. But hey,
it is what it is. So last episode, y'all had your tarot read, at least one of you did. I found out that there's some changes are coming, met some friends, and then you made your cat invisible and had him steal from somebody. And discovered that the Pinkertons were on board, which is not completely unthinkable, but is concerning. But before we hop into game, we have a couple things to do, one of which is to introduce our cast. Let's start with Christine. Take it away.
Hello, I'm Christine. I use she, her pronouns, and today I get to play Dr. Evelyn Taylor, our Society of Ether member.
Fantastic. Wonderful to have you, Christine. Christine, you're on a holiday. You don't have work for the next week and a bit.
Yay! And I'm starting to feel better.
Yay! Thanks for being here.
I just discovered that my computer may be Windows 11 capable, but my processor has the ability to have a virtual TPM, doesn't have the hardware, but then I have to change settings to make it happen. But I have to find out what those settings will change about my computer.
I have to find out what any of that means. But
me neither. Not really.
Not really. I'll talk to our tech expert, Amy.
Yeah, I don't know what those words meant either. Sorry.
Well,
but hi,
okay.
I'm Amy. My pronouns are she, her, they, them, and I'm playing Chastity, Prudence, Goodwin, the Celestial Chorister / Cult of Ecstasy member. And there's no reason to be concerned at all.
Not even about the switch to Windows 11?
She doesn't know what that means.
This is true.
I guess you just add an extra window to your house or something.
Speaking of somebody whose character was looking out the window a lot last episode, it's Jen.
Hi, I'm Jen. I use she, her pronouns, and I play Josephine Carrington, who has never been on a train before, so of course she's going to look out the window.
Fantastic. And segue windows. Robin. Hi, Robin. Oh, sorry, Duchess Robin.
yeah.
Oh, sorry,
Duchess.
Entity Jen. I'm bad at this. Hello, Robin.
Hello. Yes, I am Robin. I use she, her pronouns, and so does usually Darcie Harkness, our Verbena member, who turned her cat into the apex predator by being able to go predator mode. Stealth cat engage.
Stealth cat engage.
Yeah, Duchess. Maybe Darcie will be a Duchess one day. Who knows? Actually, she's staying away from lords and stuff. She has a bad taste in her mouth from the last lord that she met.
Fair. All right, so folks, we got a lot of stuff to do, but the first thing that I need to do is thank our sponsor, Bookwyrm Games. Bookwyrm Games has been an amazing sponsor this past 2 years now, They sell amazing dice, including these World of Darkness inspired actual gemstone ones. So you should go check them out. They are an absolutely fantastic sponsor, and they have a brand new system that they have just invented called the Quill system that they have finished a backer kit for. It is going to be releasing very soon. And when it does so, it's going to have some additional written material by me in it. So you should definitely check it out. It's going to be a real great time where you get to play a comfy, cozy game that is centered around like animal adventures. You can't really beat that. Like it's great. So check them out. And if you go to their website, you can use code DorkTales to save 15%. That's pretty good. 15% off with code DorkTales at bookwormgames.com. They're wonderful. They love the World of Darkness. You should check them out. That's my spiel for them. So with that, does anybody else have any more announcements before we begin? I have one small announcement, but besides that, and that is in 15 days, we are having session 0 of our brand new Mage the Ascension campaign. We are running another, I'm running a technocracy campaign set in Vancouver, BC, and following a group of, I remember in Revised, they were called Mystic Republicans because they were hereditary mages. And in this case, that is definitely something because they are definite mystic BC liberals, which is the party up here, or at least it was. And that is coming live to our Patreon. You can join session 0 on the 28th. It is a Monday. It's going to run once a month on Mondays. So consider joining up. Also, if you join the Patreon enough times, enough people, Jen is going to run another game at like 220 patrons or something like that. So like, head over.
225.
Was it 225? Okay.
Yeah.
You're 200.
Yeah.
You and Cal are 200.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, God. No, we're 250. For the Exalted
I don't
game.
think so.
I thought. I wrote it down somewhere.
Yeah.
All right, so folks, without further ado, it's time for us to head back into Mage the Ascension the Victorian Age here on Dork Tales. We find ourselves back inside of the lounge car, the observation car, looking out over the fantastic views of the desert. Mirages twinkle at the distance along the horizon. The sun is baking down and the air is sweltering, even as a few fans lazily rotate in the corners. Top of the line, brand new electric-powered fans. The breeze that covers each of you is gentle, but far too occasional to bring real comfort. As you sit there, having very recently had your fortune read, Darcie, you are going to have Bran drop off the badge. You take a moment to look at it, registering that it's a badge from the Pinkerton Detective Agency. They brought that from him, but the other fellow in the room, he smelled like death. Glad to be out of there. Thanks for sending me in there. I want my payment.
I don't think we discussed payment, but yeah. What would you You're supposed to be helping me. I gave you like sentience and the ability to talk. You're supposed to be helping me.
I gave myself sentience.
Well, yeah, but I gave you the ability to communicate with me.
Oh, and look how much fun that's been. You're right. I should thank you profusely, Darcie Harkness. Thank you for giving me the ability to talk to a bunch of people who don't actually listen to me.
I'm listening right now. There's a weird man that smells like death.
I want fish.
Okay, I will get you fish from the food cart.
Good. Was that so hard?
No.
Sardines. Or anchovies.
What now? Okay, I was going to say, can we have at least a few options? Because I don't know what the tastes will be offered by the carts.
Millionaires, if it's there. It's my favorite brand. You should know that by now.
I do know that. Like, you thought I was not going to be...
Last time you bought me
Looking for that?
Hoskins. A
Again,
pox on
that was
Bob
what was
Hoskin and
there.
anybody else at the Hoskin cannery.
Listen. I only can do what I am able... I can't just conjure millionaires from thin air yet.
Hi, maybe you should. You'd be a much happier lass with a nice millionaire on your arm.
Do you remember the last lord that I dealt with? I ended up naked, chained to a satanic ritual.
I mean, I don't think it's specifically with Satan, but a girl's got to make her money somehow.
There was a pentagram, so it might not have been Satan.
You
but it
should
was
know better than
definitely
most
demonic.
What kind of witch are you if you think that a pentagram is automatically demonic? You should know it's for sealing circles and for binding.
Yes, Darcie would. Robin's brain dead right now.
Robin went to Christian horse camp and can't determine the difference.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Necroprancer.
Necromancer.
From the window, Joe, distracted by the approaching storm outside, just kind of chimes in with, "There are better ways to do summoning circles and sealing circles."
I do think we should have a discussion about that. I feel like we could definitely what is the word that Evelyn uses? Theorize?
Evelyn, sitting nearby, what are you...
I feel like Evelyn's just kind of observing and trying to like figure out what had happened to her because she only just came out of quiet.
Fair.
Does that storm look bad?
Darcie will look out the window.
Can I please get, now there are a couple of ways you could do this. I could get a perception or intelligence and survival roll off of anybody. I could get, anybody who wants to analyze it with Forces 1 could.
I was just gonna ask if I could throw up Forces 1. Look at this storm.
Now, Chastity's not in the room. She wandered off to go find wine when she heard there were Pinkertons, is what I'm remembering from the end of last game. But if you think I would still potentially do it if I glance outside.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're very focused on wine.
Yeah, okay. In that case, probably will not be looking outside too much.
Christine's dying over the
Cute. So cute.
What is he licking?
I think Christine's hands.
My hands, I'm just trying really hard to keep him from clawing the lace on my shirt. And he's got his paws crossed to my hands and he's just looking at me like, what's wrong?
Yeah, Josephine will throw up she'll actually do Forces 1 Prime 1 just to make sure there's nothing like, super ominous about that storm. She doesn't know much about desert storms versus sea storms, so. Fair.
Well, they're both weather, so that sounds pretty good. Can I get from everybody who's using Forces 1, give me an Arete check at base difficulty of 4. But if you have your unique foci, drop that to a 3. As for Evelyn, if you're looking, just give me, do you have survival?
I do not.
Okay. So you could make me an int in survival or perception and survival roll at difficulty 8 if you want.
Sure.
To gather anything meaningful. Detail-oriented will not apply.
Okay, what about deductive?
Yeah, but I'll give you a sarcastic answer for it. Deductive. Is that storm bad? You deduced that it probably fucking is.
Well, I figure she grew up in, like, the parts of Canada that would have bordered with the U.S. where, like, these sorts of storms
Oh, yeah,
potentially
you're from the
exist.
prairies, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say prairie storms.
Prairie into,
for
like,
sure.
Ontario,
Tornado. Yeah, so tornado
Yeah.
watch,
For sure.
basically.
I think she knows what that sort of stuff looks like.
Okay. All right. So I've got 4 successes, 2 successes, and I have 1 success. So looking at that with 1 success, Evelyn, you're honestly, you're going to deduce that you're probably going to sleep really well tonight. This train is sturdy. The storm is not going to hurt this train. You have more faith in science than that. And the rainstorm is going to do some... Well, I guess it could wash out some of the tracks and kill you that way, but they probably accounted for that. That said, though, going through a train in a storm is terribly romantic and probably going to be very relaxing. So that's kind of how you're thinking about it as a prairie girl who probably hasn't had a... Well, I guess there are lots of storms in England. But, you know, a nice proper storm. Not one of these old world storms. I guess you're in the oldest world storm right now, though. As for Josephine and Darcie, looking forward with forces, you are going to see roiling masses of electrostatic forces, of wind currents. This storm is not going to be like an inland hurricane. It's not going to be like a tornado or something like that. But it is going to be surprisingly rough for this region. This is going to be one of those once a year or fewer kind of storms.
Do I pull anything with Prime as well?
With Prime as well, you are going to... Yeah, actually, what I want you to do is, now that you have the Prime side up, can you please give me a perception and... You can give me alertness for this.
Okay, cool.
So I have 3 dots in survival. Would I know specifically if there's anything, if this is going to be a rough storm on a train, would I know anything potentially, like, to make sure to do to, like, potentially prepare for a rough storm?
Honestly, there's not much you can do. You're on a train. You hope that the conductor will slow down a bit. But I would say brace yourself, put your fragile things like in a good location.
Did we notice any sort of window coverings on the train? Like any sort of shutters? Almost like hurricane
What's your
shutters?
perception score?
A 3.
3? You did notice that there were some very thick blackout curtains at the very least in each of your rooms.
Okay.
So at the very least, you'll be able to have something that would block any, like, any broken glass, or would potentially block any, if the glass was broken, it would probably keep out a lot of sand that was blown in.
Mm-hmm.
And you could probably stitch them together.
Or talk to the lovely Matter Mage to ask to make it a little bit sturdy.
Josephine, as you were looking around, how many successes did you get against, we'll say difficulty 6?
3.
Wow, I wasn't subtle about this at all, apparently. Okay. Well, you beat me, and I had a lot more dice to roll, I think. Looking around, you are going to see that the storm is pressing its way toward this train, but the train itself has a film over it. A little hum of energy. Your Prime sight and your Forces sight are going to pick this up. An aura, more than anything, that emanates around the train's exterior. It's not enough that, for example, you couldn't just, like, jump out the window if it was broken. You totally could. But whatever is wrapping around this is aiding in propulsion and putting any type of weather or inclement conditions of the surrounding area directly into its momentum, almost kind of like modern regenerative braking. That it uses that type of friction for power, except This is built into the train's, like, hull, body, whatever you would call it. You can see reinforcing magic. It's similar to the type that you were taught by House Tharsis to use on ships.
Interesting. Okay. I'm gonna throw up one more effect, just to check on a thing. I would like to use forces and possibly correspondence, possibly entropy, to see if I can tell which way the storm is going.
Okay. Sounds good. Go ahead.
What's the difficulty on that?
You know what, actually? I would say you don't even need to cast that. With 2 successes on that foresight before, you would get a good sense of the kinetic motion and the currents. It is going to pass over the area here as it pushes toward the sea.
Okay, cool.
So you'd say that it's probably going to hit around 8 p.m. Right now it's probably about 4 p.m. So you're going to have, if you have an early dinner, you should be fine, unless you get, train sick.
Fair.
But yeah, and Darcie, you could probably gather that information, that it's headed this direction and will be here in about 4 hours.
Yeah, I was gonna say because I got 4 successes, so maybe the 4th success be able to kind of gain that. Oh, it looks like the force is the speed, and storm is that.
Yeah, you think that it's going to pass over pretty quickly. You've got like maybe a half hour to an hour of roughness before it passes over and pushes into the ocean.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Joe will point out that it's heading towards the ocean, but it does look like it'll hit at some point after dinner, maybe, if we eat fast.
Yeah, we should probably go for the earlier seating. Does this train have different seatings for like times, or is it just
both? So so there are 2 dining cars. The forward dining car does have seatings and reservations that can be made. You just put your name down and they'll get you in. And then the second one, the rear one, is for second class passengers and first class passengers, and you can just show up when there's a seat and order like a restaurant.
Okay. Maybe we can see about speaking and reserving an early dinner in the upper car.
Is that how it works here?
I think it was explained the first car can be reserved, like the one that is in our class and above, but the farther back car I think is just walk-in.
So many rules I don't understand. Sure, whatever works for everyone else.
Also, Evelyn, is there anyone else in this car with us?
Yes,
we're back.
You're back in
back
the
in-
observation car. The seance man is kind of lounging in the chair, looking out the window, like half asleep. As well, you'll see that there are a few people that you don't recognize moving in and out, just kind of observing, staying a decent ways away from you. However, as you are looking around, you are going to notice, that there is someone sitting kind of back. So your chairs are kind of back to back, with a large piled hairstyle, almost like a beehive, and with little wisps of it pointing out where they've broken free of their pins. And this one woman, you assume a woman at least, is sitting nearby and seems to have her head kind of quirked toward you.
Okay. then Darcie probably wouldn't. She would have had that mental talk with Bran as a mental talk, not out loud.
I don't
just
believe
talking
you
to her
paid for
cat.
telepathy, because all of your talks have always been verbal. It doesn't matter. Bran was invisible, so, I mean, and was having this conversation pretty quietly with you, so it's
Okay.
fine.
Okay.
As you look over, you are going to see this woman with her hair and a small pair of hands is going to just clutch the edge of the chair. And can I get just a perception and alertness roll off of everybody? Or perception and empathy, if you prefer.
Do instincts apply?
Yeah.
Nice.
So many 5s on that roll.
Oh my god, so many ones. Okay. 3 successes. So many ones, cancel that out.
Sorry, what was the difficulty?
Difficulty of 6.
Okay, 1 success.
1 success.
I got 2.
Perfect. 2? Okay.
Yep.
So, as you are sitting there, so that was
1, 2,
Sorry.
3.
1, 2, 3. Cool. Sorry, trying to do 2 things at once.
I rolled 5 dice. I got 3 5s, and then 2 successes.
Woof.
We love that. We love that for you.
Right? So
I had
good.
9 dice and I rolled 2 ones on there. I was so mad.
Okay, so with those successes, you're going to see that a hand is going to grab the side of the chair, and the figure in the seat is going to flip themselves over slowly, crawling onto her knees and kind of like peering over the chair. She's dressed in a black lace, high-necked Victorian dress. However, any successes at all are going to allow you to immediately see that her dress is patched up. It's been ripped in a few places. It's dirtier than it should be. And as she puts her hand around, the first thing that you are going to notice with 1 success for sure is she has no nails to speak of. In fact, her nails are cracked and broken down to the quick. They are also lined with dirt and oil. You'll also notice that her hair is out of place. She has a sharp face with a long, witchy nose. And leans over a pair of glasses with a series of scratches, like hash marks, along the sides, dangling off the tip of that nose. She's probably about mid-30s, maybe 40. And she leans over the chair and kind of looks at you with a mania in her eyes that's barely contained. Are you talking about the storms?
Yes.
You have nothing to worry about. The storms will pass us over. We will be fine.
I wasn't worried. I've been through worse.
Yeah. So has the Empress Express. At least during trial runs. It should be fine. This train was built to last. Very sturdy. German engineering. English money. Sorry for interrupting you. Can I get Evelyn to make me an int and wits roll? This is the only roll of this kind. I need to know, first of all, do you have any arcane? The background.
Yes, 2.
2, perfect. That makes my life more difficult. Okay, you're going at difficulty 8.
Three successes.
You are going to recognize this woman. You met her with James at a conference. This woman is... She's an engineer, an electrodyne engineer. An etheric engineer, I should say. And she looks down at you, and you can see that she's having a little bit of trouble picking it up. Her forehead wrinkles a bit. And, in fact, that probably is the reason that none of you noticed that she was sitting there until she turned around and her chair squeaked. Something about her. She leans over, and you are going to remember with... You said 2 successes?
3.
3 successes. Okay, that's enough to actually remember. You were going to recognize that this is Wilhelmina von Barrow. A rather eccentric scientist and someone who is hyper-focused on combustion engines. You had several very pointless conversations with her. She's the type of person that doesn't talk about anything but what she's interested in. And definitely is not a woman for this age. Because she will talk over every man around her. Have we met before?
Don't believe so.
She glances down at your hand. Are you still wearing your wedding ring?
Nope.
You look familiar. But... then again... I'm face blind, so it's hard for me to tell these things. If we do know each other, you would say something, yes? I haven't interrupted any type of gal pal time?
Not at all. Just experiencing the train.
Yes, she's lovely, isn't she?
And Evelyn does very deliberately not answer that first part of the question.
Don't worry. A little bit of wind won't set her off the rails.
Oh, that's good to know.
I have it on good authority that the engineer is a genius. Well, I should leave you. Auf Wiedersehen. And she will get up and begin hustling away. Nearly tripping over her long petticoat. As she rushes out of one of the southern doors, we are going to follow her down into the dining car, or at least into the bar car, where Chastity, you have made it to the bar car and are in the process of ordering a bottle of wine from the sommelier on duty.
I think she's actually going to try and get 2 bottles.
But of course, I'd be very happy to help you. We have a number of reds and whites right now. What is your taste?
Red, please.
Of course. Just one moment. So we have a number of things present right now. What type of wine do you like? You said red? The sommelier
Yes,
is
please.
handsome, young, French, and is definitely trying to sweet talk you a bit. Is this your first time on a train like this?
Like this? Yes.
What type of
Not
trains
my
have
first
you...
time on a train.
No. What type of wines do you like?
Pretty much anyone. But for the moment, red will do.
Well, yes, of course, red, but there are many types of red. There's, I have a claret, I have a Syrah, I have a Roxitelle Noir. It is pretty young, only 7 years old, but it's from Georgia. I noticed from your accent you're probably American, but when I say Georgia, I mean near Russia.
And surprise me.
Surprise you, if you insist. Let's see, for a beautiful girl like you, then I would have to say that the noir that I mentioned, it has notes of resin and cherry pit, and is nearly as nearly as smooth as your flawless skin. Besides that, I would say that you strike me as someone with a deep passion. Perhaps something full-bodied? There is a vin de... Let's see, where is it? It's only a few years old, but a vin de Palatina. It is a German red, ruby and luscious like a beautiful woman's lips.
Sure. That sounds agreeable.
Of course. And which room are you staying in? I can put them on your tab, or you can pay cash.
She's going to pull out some of the cash that we got from selling stuff, and we'll just hand it over.
Sacre bleu. I will...
Is this enough?
More than.
Brilliant.
Yes, and if you need... my name is Pierre. If you have any other wine needs, please come here. I will be happy to be your sommelier for the majority of this trip.
Well, it's been a pleasure to make your acquaintance, Pierre.
Of course.
Perhaps we will see more of each other.
I do hope so, madame.
Have a good one. And she's going to pick up those bottles, like the 2 bottles, and just going to wander back to the room.
Do you not need me to... I hate to see her go, but I love to watch her walk away. Chastity, you make your way back toward the observation car, pushing your way through, and as you are doing so, let's see, for that you would have been in the bar car, which is the lounge car there. You are going to push past a woman who looks particularly disheveled as she makes her way back toward the bar car as well, constantly like looking out the window with a wild look in her eyes. To describe her, I would say she looks like, for quick reference for you, Michelle Gomez. Like Michelle Gomez, but German. Okay? And as she looks around, she will not even notice you as she bumps past you, practically toppling you to the floor as she goes by in a rush. In fact, as she does so, can you please make me a dexterity and athletics roll?
While she does, can I ask a quick question,
Of course.
Kelly? Because I think you'll have the better answer to this. How many days has it been since Josephine got her tattoo?
Like 2.
Okay, cool. That's what I thought. That's good. That I have lethal that heals at a normal healing rate, and I couldn't remember how many days it had been, so I haven't even healed the one yet, which is fine.
Yeah, I think you heal 1 point tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll heal 1 point tomorrow, and then I'll heal the second point the day after, because it'll be 1 day. One
All
more
right.
day.
What'd you get on your
Okay,
roll?
so I have no athletics.
Okay.
I have 2 dexterity, So I rolled 2 dice, and I got 10s on each of them, which I'm so sad don't do anything fancy. But, you know.
Well, they mean you don't
2
drop the
successes.
bottles of wine. No, so you're going to hang on to
She's
those.
excellent at holding on to bottles of alcohol. That is
That's true. You should have a
talent
specialty in that. I
and
should have
skill.
given you Dex and Vice.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Maybe in the future. As she bumbles past you or steamrolls past you, she's going to kind of push you against the wall with an elbow, completely heedless to who you are, or the fact that you're even there. And you are going to not drop the bottles of wine. But as you are pushed against the wall, this woman steamrolls down toward the back of the train. You are going to see, or at least hear, that there is, in the room very close to yours, actually, just a little bit higher up. So in the room at the very back of the car, I should say. So you were just entering the Albert car that you guys have your rooms in. And as you were doing so is when you got bumped, kind of throwing you against the room that is number 6. You guys are in number 3 and 4. And as you bump against the wall, you are going to hear the sound of a light voice coughing rather wetly inside. It sounds very miserable.
Take note of that and scurry past because I don't want to get infected by whatever that is.
As you push past, you are also going to be able to hear the sound of a little bit of whimpering coming from your room.
Oh. Okay, time to go let the dog out. Let Clementine out.
All right, Clementine is going to burst out into the hallway and start doing loops around you.
Okay. I will go make sure we're going to shift the bottles of wine. So they're both tucked under one arm, both secured, so we can reach out with the other hand and kind of give scritches and distract the dog.
All right, the dog is going to jump up and try to grab one of the wine bottles with its giant frickin' face.
Nope. Hand just on face.
Can you make me a persuasion, or probably not persuasion, a charisma and animal can roll?
I sure don't have animal can at all. It's not
Mm.
on my sheet at all. I think I might have written something in over it. But I do have, what was it, charisma or persuasion?
Yep.
Or no,
You got charisma.
Yes, I do. I have a lot of charisma. I have 4 dots in it.
4 dorks and charisma.
Okay. 4 dots in charisma. Woohoo! Yeah, 4 dots in charisma. I don't think bold applies here.
It will not. You're not boldly putting your hand in your own dog's face. That's pretty standard issue, really.
No. Yeah.
That's all people really do with their dogs.
Yeah, I don't have animal ken. I have intimidation. I have...
Yeah, it's not a... It would have to be a write-in.
Did they take it
It's
out
not
again?
Yeah, it's not in there.
Do you have survival?
No.
Okay, then just give it to me at a +1. So give me a difficulty 7. You know, give it to
7?
difficulty
Okay.
6 because he's a pretty chill dog.
And that kind of screwed with his brain a bit, so...
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair.
Unless I can do the intimidation to just get him to chill. Back
I mean,
off.
if that's the route you want to take, then go ahead.
Yeah, not so much. I just want to get him to get down. Yeah. Okay. So then just straight charisma.
Straight charisma.
And you said with a difficulty 7?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 1 second.
Difficulty 6. He's a marshmallow.
That's true. I have screwed with his brain a bunch, too.
Yeah.
That is
Liquid.
3 successes.
Okay. You have properly cowed the dog, and not just because it looks like it was shapeshifted into some type of bovine monstrosity. But you are going to be able to calm it down, and it is going to pout and hop up on the couch.
Should have grabbed some food.
Were you in the gold suite or the black suite?
I was And let me look at the thing. I was in the gold room with Darcie.
Perfect. All right, so inside of there, you can see that your things have not been touched at all, aside from what Clementine has knocked over. There is, Clementine is lying on the couch, but you can see that the bed has a big crease in the center where something circular was just a minute ago. It's also black inside of here. And what color was Clementine?
Clementine's like...
Not black? Well,
Not
then there's
black, no.
trails. There's trails of black.
Oh, no, I said we're in the
or-
gold room.
Oh, you're in the gold room. That's right.
Yeah.
Then there's still some trails, but
Yeah. I think she's like a... Because we switched her over from a papillon, which was like... But I don't remember what color she was. Or
It's
he
kind of
was.
like I pictured
like
like
he
a
was
very
like a-
goldy kind of tawny papillon, blonde,
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
and now it is
So
it's-
kind of a goldy color
Yeah.
monstrosity.
yeah, basically. We gotta have this dog drawn someday. It's hard to imagine.
I honestly, every time we describe him, my brain thinks Cleo Longlegs. So
Yeah,
Yep.
it's Cleo Longlegs in my head. Also for doing that, I definitely want to get Bran art too.
Yeah,
For doing
Bran.
fancy art.
Okay. So, he'll calm down a bit, and now, did you shut the door as you came in?
I think she would have, once he got all out of her way and she put the bottles down, would have pulled it closed.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, anything else you're doing before you join your friends, or are your friends making your way back toward the suites? What's the plan for everybody?
I think for Chastity, she's just getting ready to, like if we're dealing with potential threats on the train, just checking her stuff and perhaps, I don't know,
Okay.
petting the dog and reading a bit.
I mean, I think Darcie will probably try and get everyone together so we can have a conversation about the fact that there's Pinkertons on the train.
Nice. Okay. So as you are tending to Clementine, I think that's probably a good time for the team to open the door, having looked for Chastity, and found her in the room tending to the dog while adjusting several bottles of wine. So, you all assemble back inside of the room. What do you all discuss?
So Bran found this, pulls out the badge.
Right. So we should be on our guard.
Most likely. Also, Bran said that the guy's roommate smelled like death, and I don't think he was being sarcastic.
I wasn't. Something died in that room. Not sure what, though. Is that
What's
thing
going
gonna...
on? What are you talking about?
Were you not paying attention? Wait, I went and stole something from the Irishman's room. Darcie can explain it. Ugh, that dog better not give me any trouble. I'll scratch his eyes out. The invisible cat jumps up on the desk and curls up.
The Pinkertons were the people that were chasing us in the carriage at the very beginning of this whole thing, right?
Maybe. That was never confirmed.
I don't
right?
think we ever know. Yeah. Or at least I don't recall knowing ever.
I have to go back to my other notebook to figure out notes. I feel like I recognize the Pinkertons from this game, not just from like real life. So I'm trying to remember where we've dealt with them before, but I did send my other notebook.
I feel it may have gotten mentioned with that detective who was hunting like Chastity because of Amelia. Right at the very start on that side of America.
Yes.
Sure. I just know that Chastity's familiar with them in general, but
Because
she
they're an American
doesn't have any
thing.
reason to think that they were coming after her. I don't think.
So I feel like it's that initial guy who was like, "You're making off with this well-respected young lady," type thing. And it's that side of it.
Yeah.
I can't remember if they showed up at any other point beyond potentially in a cutscene where we were hearing a little behind the scenes to know what's coming.
Yeah.
But if we're in the midst of discussing that, Evelyn will also let everybody know that she does know that other lady. But she doesn't want her to remember because she is part of the group that she left. And while she's notoriously like single-minded, she might say the wrong thing to the wrong person at the wrong time, or she might also get pissed off. Who knows?
Good to know.
Yep.
And describe her so that it might twig for Chastity who ran into her then.
Do you think it would then, Kelly? After it was described?
Yeah, I think so. I think it was described. Yes.
Right. Yeah, I ran into her.
I believe a lot of her, from what I remember, her research maybe focused on train type engines. And considering
Would
her remark,
explain
I'm
why.
guessing she may have had a hand in creating this.
That might explain the aura I saw around it.
So we're basically surrounded by the people we don't want to be surrounded by right now.
So, in other words, yes. Be on our guard. And try not to draw too much attention to ourselves.
And
Somehow.
I think magically
Just
should be very careful, because for those that know, that's not hard to not notice. It's not hard to notice. So we have at least one well-known magic user, scientist, somebody who smells like death, and a Pinkerton. And whatever the hell Sam and Henry are.
yeah.
Well, I've been stocking up. Chastity will hold up the 2 bottles of wine.
Excellent. I think Evelyn's going to go back through her things and try and figure out a better way to hide the thing than just sitting
Okay.
in her luggage.
So you go back into your room?
I think so.
I would figure our doors are open because I think you said at the beginning we have the adjoining doors.
No, there are no adjoining doors, but you're next door to each other.
Oh, okay.
So yes, she is. I'm not sure how, but we'll try and make it less noticeable, less obvious of a place to hide. She's gonna try and really
Sounds
think about it.
Great.
Does she tell us that she's gonna go do that?
I think so, yeah.
As you
Then can I help by doing or
Sure.
like add a secondary effect or like do an additional one to make it not noticeable? Like
Yeah,
use
I'm
a
not
mind
necessarily going to do an
something?
effect per se,
Mm,
because that stuff can be seen too, which then is like, hey, I'm right
True.
here.
just trying to figure if there's something I could do with mind and prime that would make it.
But she's going to try and look around to try and figure out a way to make it less obvious or make it more hidden in plain sight type thing. So somebody
As you
won't
head back
necessarily
into the
notice
next room, sliding open the door, you are going to have the immediate smell. The smell of down is in the air. The smell of goose feathers and duck feathers is everywhere. And looking at the room, you can see that there is a small igloo in the corner under the table. Made of interwoven feathers from a torn pillow. A little burrow of them.
Who goes there? I protect this room.
A voice comes from outside of the, or from the inside of this little igloo. I guess it's more of a teepee than an igloo. But yeah, fair.
Who goes there?
You're not supposed to talk to unknown humans.
You cannot see me. I am in my shelter.
I can see your shelter.
A little gaunt, diseased face sticks out of this little teepee and looks up at you with its kind of milky eyes.
Mistress. I did not speak to anyone until you were here. I abided by the rules of the compact.
You did not know it was me, though.
I could sense you. I can always sense when you are near. Your scent is discriminant.
Did you know if there was somebody else with me?
There is no one else with you.
Then why did you ask who goes there?
I was testing you.
Uh-huh.
He might have been. I got one success on his one dice to convince you.
Well, while she's trying to think about this other thing and figure it out, she's gonna start delivering a half thought about like lecture on not letting regular humans know about him. Because they will chase him with fire and buckets and brooms and destroy his body.
Yes, and I will give them the plague.
Yes, but you would still be destroyed. You would have no body.
You would build me another one, a greater one, a grander one. Perhaps out of those I kill. Then I would be truly bipedal. I would have better thumbs.
He waggles his little rat thumbs.
Maybe.
Mistress
Or maybe
would
this
murder
time I would
for
take
me.
the tongue out, and you wouldn't taste anything. Kill them all
But-
with plague.
But I am marrow
Consequences.
taster.
And you wouldn't be tasting any marrow. It would be very sad.
I do not understand. Is this a promotion or not? What good are thumbs if I cannot taste them?
She's just going to deliver a long, rambling lecture that's going to go all sorts of places due to his segues.
All right. So in the meanwhile of that, Chastity, what are you doing? Because for some reason, it doesn't appear that Marrow Taster can either see you or acknowledge you. Or perhaps they just are too prideful to do so.
I figured they're in their own little world. But I think... Yeah, I am trying to think about a way to, like... Yeah, there's a point of if I use an effect, someone will see it, but is there a way to hide a diversion or something?
Absolutely.
Or like, notice me not, but not obvious?
Mine 3.
Mine 3?
Mine 3, you can put it on a subject so people just look away from you. They just don't notice you.
Yeah. So I want to make them not look for the device.
Sure,
Box.
that makes sense. Where is it right now? Is it just...
Evelyn has it. I don't know where she's put it.
Evelyn, where's the cube?
Somewhere in her luggage, I believe. She wouldn't have left it behind. So it's got to be in there somewhere. But I don't know if we actually, like, touch base on that after getting, like, grabbed by the weird French dude. Because I don't remember. We were traumatized. I
This
assume
is
she
true.
would have checked because that is, like, the important part of it.
Okay. So yes, you absolutely have it in one of the hidden compartments of your luggage, which of course you have. You're a matter mage. So you can easily do so. So casting that mind effect, how would you do that? Just get totally drunk and, like, hit it with a bottle? Like, what's the focus for this?
No. She's got some wine. She's going to do a communion thing. She's going to look around for some little glasses, and she's going to try and see if there's any wafers or biscuits kicking around. Especially complimentary ones. Those are great.
There are complimentary biscuits.
Brilliant. We're going to do a very bastardized communion.
All right, go ahead, and this is going to be a difficulty 6 Arete check.
Okay.
What do you have a specialty focus for this for mind?
Oh, let me just double check that real quickly, because one of them is more for Celestial Chorus and one's more for do. I think if it's more alcohol, like more drug vice based, it's more Cult of Ecstasy.
Mm-hmm.
If it's her leaning more on the religion side, it tends to be like religious rites. It tends to be more of her prime side. So this is kind of an awful bastardized mix, but there's not like a unique focus.
Okay. So go ahead and give me a
So-
difficulty 6.
So, okay. Yeah. Wait, we're okay. I have a 6 and a 7, so the one only got rid of one of them. So that's a single success. That's not
A single
great.
success? That's not great. You can spend some more time
nope.
doing this.
Yeah, she's gonna keep doing it, and she's probably gonna get slowly more and more drunk. And it's gonna be less and less like an actual like it's gonna look more like she's just getting trashed.
All right, give me one more roll at difficulty of 7, please. You're gonna want 3 successes
That's
total.
better. And you said that and 10s explode with magic?
They do.
Sweet. Okay, that is 3 successes.
3 successes.
in this
okay.
round.
So that is going to that's going to last for let's see. So it's its scene minute. That'll last for at least the next day.
Cool. She'll try
That's a
and
good
possibly have to go get more wine and renew it later, but she's just gonna. Yeah.
He was right, though. That does kind of taste like cherry pits. Yeah. Kind of a little cloying. Meanwhile, so as you're doing that and you're lecturing Marrow Taster, we switch back to the other room where Josephine is chatting with, is going to chat with Darcie.
Yeah. Yep, once the others leave. Darcie, can I ask a favor of you?
What can I do for you?
The tattoo I got in Cairo is really itchy and healing, and I was wondering if you could just
Oh,
calm it
speed
down.
up a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, that can do too. I can try and heal the process.
Maybe, but
You got.
that's not even the worst of it. It's just annoying.
Did Joe tell us about the tattoo?
No, not at all.
Cool.
Yeah, she was
Sorry, I
going to
was
go
thinking
meet
you've
with
heard about
someone,
it.
but that's it.
Wait, you got a tattoo in Cairo? Is that where we dropped you off?
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's see it. Let's see it. Darcie's gonna
Josephine, because she has zero ingrained shame of the Victorian era, totally just takes off her shirt, and it's just Kelly should describe it because he's the one who chose the art form for it. So
Oh, that's
I want
fair.
to-
Do you have an idea of what the actual art looks like specifically?
no, I have
Okay.
an idea of what the subject matter was, but that was it.
Perfect. I'm kind of picturing, actually, I'm kind of picturing this, but on somebody's back. Not the one I just sent, but this one. Because that's a little more classic to the era.
Yeah. Basically,
So,
maybe
there
not
is-
quite as high up, but yeah.
And I think reaching around the arms. So there is
Yeah.
a large cephalopod, an octopi, right on Joe's back. It's wide, like several hands wide, with the tentacles reaching up around her shoulder caps and down along her biceps. Not quite sleeves, but definitely you would see them peeking out were t-shirts a thing in this era. And the tendrils are going to wrap around her ribs as well, and one of the tentacles, at the very least, is going to go under one of her breasts. Like it's quite a large tattoo.
And it's healing very nicely and probably doesn't need that much help. I'm basically 2 days, I'm halfway through
Yeah.
healing.
You're halfway through
So-
healing.
Probably don't really need much help with that, but it is in that angry tattoo
Yeah.
stage of itchiness and
Wow.
Is this the
Yeah,
first time Darcie's ever seen a fresh tattoo?
Oh yeah, 100%.
The skin looks raw and angry, and like it's trying to shed its top two layers. Like it's just trying to slough out. It's like her back is fighting the ink.
Huh. Yeah, would you just I'm going to go whip up some healing salve that will also maybe bring down that red itching. Just to go take just face down on the bed.
sure.
Poultice.
Thanks.
Not salve, poultice, whoops.
Oh no, I was just putting that in the chat because no one ever uses the word poultice, and it's the weirdest concept. Let's put a bunch of compost on your back.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Darcie's gonna go whip up.
Yeah, that sounds good. Why don't you
Some-
give me an int in Hearth Wisdom?
That is
medicine.
not a skill that's written in on this one.
Fucking hell, Vic.
Medicine.
20th.
Yeah, it's a Dark Ages one. It's a
Yeah.
Dark Ages skill.
I did medicine for Darcie's herbalism and mage.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like
that
I'm using
sounds-
I like to use life magic to heal, and she uses
Yeah.
herbalism for it.
That sounds great.
Josephine will make small bits of chatter if you're still close enough to do that, and basically be like, oh, it already feels better without the shirt on, rubbing against it.
So how long did that take you? I guess that time that we were there.
Yeah, that whole time. I mean, she was pretty fast about it, but
Is this...
it has some enhancement abilities.
I was wondering about that. It almost ties in a bit of the sacrificial element that Verbena believe in. Hurting yourself, sacrificing pain and life force. It's very similar.
Yeah, I know that she's the one who did the effect, and then basically it's a wonder of its own. Helps me multitask. Basically, it gives me some extra oomph. But
did you have to get it in that? Did you get that for our lovely river companion that we found, or is that design inherent, or did you get that for him?
Yeah, kind of a part memory of Octavius, part
nautical.
Yeah, nice little combination. Yeah,
that is fantastic. Darcie's going to slowly start putting on the poultice on her back, and she's just also kind of just touching it in wonder too, because she's never seen a tattoo like this, and so she's very intrigued about this. And I would like to cast life to try and heal Josephine.
As you are doing so, rubbing some of it on your on her skin, the tentacles are going to shiver, and for a second you think that it's just her back reacting, and then you notice...
she does have a little ticklish reaction at one point for sure.
Oh, 100%.
But one of the stray
around, the size of the ribs.
But one of the stray tentacles looks like it tries to wrap around your finger from within the skin.
That is very, very interesting.
Can you please give me a... you're just trying to heal this?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's what's going to happen. You're going to give me a life effect. Give me an arete check at difficulty of healing another person. 3, 6, 7, 6, please.
Okay.
And you took some time to... what'd you get on your int and medicine roll?
Okay, I didn't know if you wanted me to still do that with...
yeah, because that's magic enhancing abilities. So technically, if Chastity wants to, Chastity could go back and just drink and make a prayer roll to try to lower the difficulty of her magic.
What's the difficulty for that?
6.
6, okay. So that's going to be 2 successes for that. 1.
Difficulty 4 for the magic.
Sweet.
It only works on your next casting, but basically you get into the zone, you call in your foci, and you use them to make your magic easier. You can also do it the opposite way and make your foci easier, or your related things. Such
4
as...
successes.
4 successes. So, for example, Chastity could prep herself up by praying a bunch and then be immune to getting drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, 4 successes. Josephine, you are going to feel a rough, raw feeling as your back shivers into its final healed form. It feels like glue setting. It feels like the skin of your back settling into a final stage, like something growing, like a fingernail bending the correct direction and then setting. And with that, let's see, that's perfect. Darcie, you are going to feel the magic in Joe's tattoo kind of react to your healing. And a little bit of ink is going to spread from the tip of the tentacle that you are touching into your fingertip and begin to blacken for just a second, when you are going to hear a catastrophic, haha, it's a pun, loud sneeze from Bran over on the bookshelf. And suddenly the darkness on your fingers is going to just vanish. Ugh. You're
Are you
welcome.
alright there, Bran?
I just
For what?
ate whatever you called over.
Oh.
Whew. I still want those anchovies. And he's going to pass out.
Okay. Well. I think you're all healed up now, Joe.
Yeah, that feels a lot better. Thank you.
You're welcome. Darcie's gonna like hold out Josephine's shirt, kind of looking away, but also like nod because she's super intrigued. So Darcie's doing like the weird, like, I'm trying to be polite, but I'm also very interested and kind of.
Josephine just takes her shirt and is just like, like.
Darcie's having an existential crisis about her curiosity flaw and being polite.
Ridiculous.
Delightful.
Okay, so you are going to be completely healed, Joe, and are fine.
Yay.
All
Oh,
right.
that's much more comfortable. We'll have to see how it works later.
I am quite intrigued about that, the wonders and it's very interesting. Darcie's just gonna be like, the wheels are turning in her brain.
Yeah, and an old friend recommended that place. But, you know, if you're interested, we could always see about finding another place.
I definitely think that might be something I am interested in. I'd be very interested to see if I could find some old witches that do that practice.
Maybe they could teach you. You already said that it's kind of like your magic, right?
It's very similar. That process and that idea is very similar. Just the more permanent aspect of it is very intriguing.
We should probably get dinner.
Yeah, probably. I owe Bran so many
Fish.
sardines.
Fish.
So many. So many. I'm just gonna get him like a heaping. He's white in sardines. I'm gonna get him.
Sardines.
Well, I don't want another repeat of the boat and going through a storm and everything in dinner just falling into our laps. So
Right. Yeah, that was a fun time.
yeah. So
Yeah. Let's go bang on the other door and see if they would like, if they're done with their task.
yeah.
Back in the other room, Chastity, you have managed to make this very difficult for anybody to look at, to the point that Evelyn, if you try it, you know where it is, but without active effort, it's like, hey Christine, it's like the speaker you were trying to find earlier. It was right in plain sight, but you couldn't see it. So it's that type of thing where you're like, what? Okay, I know it's right there, but every time I look at it, I end up looking like 4 inches to the right.
Most excellent.
Okay.
Anything else that you're doing in that room?
Chastity. She's happy to head back to the other room.
Yeah, I think that was the main thing that Evelyn was thinking. Hide that. And otherwise, look over the rest of her stuff and see if there's anything that maybe she thinks she should keep on her, or... I'm not sure.
Well, I don't think so. Unless you want to bring your gun.
No. She's probably good.
All right. So with that, you head over, start setting up to, you meet up in the hallway, and prepare to go grab your dinner seating. And I think that's a good time for us to take a quick break. So folks, don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a minute for dinner. Hey everybody, welcome back. This is the part of the program where we're going to talk to you, the chat, about a couple things briefly, and then we are going to continue playing Mage the Ascension the Victorian Age. We're basically waiting while my coffee brews. So, cheers. So, folks, I hope you're all doing well. I hope that everything is going well in real world land. We are excited to be starting Technocracy Dominion. I actually just got my notebook for it because I use a different notebook for every game, which is why when I travel, I have to carry like an entire backpack full of notebooks. Like, Robin's seen it. It's like an entire clever crate full of notebooks at times. It's stupid. I could go digital, but that just seems like not me. Besides that, God, we got so much stuff in development. Like, I had an epiphany last night. And the epiphany is we have way too much stuff in development. I know, I'm dumb. That's my epiphany. But like, so secretly, we recorded another episode of Hunter the Vigil the other night. And while we're trying to look for a time to record the next episode, we realized that we're having trouble doing it because we have so many other things in development that we're doing. Like, and I don't think I always realize the cascading effect of adding even 1 or 2 more things a month. Because it doesn't seem like much. It's 1 or 2 more things, right? Like, it's like, oh, well, we'll finally
Despite us always telling you we have too much in development.
Look, okay. I never said you weren't smart.
No, it's true, but you're saying this like none of us also realize this.
I'm just saying, I'm saying this as a man who, yeah, to quote Amy, look, I don't learn. Look, I don't learn, okay? No, it's like, it's looking at the schedule and just seeing what else I can do, because I'm a people pleaser. I love telling stories. I love bringing these things to y'all, and I'm excited to do so, but sometimes I definitely do it at my own expense. I know, like, right now I'm going through like a big internal guilt thing, because I told YouTube that I was like, oh, I got tons of stuff edited, so you're gonna have stuff like pretty much every day. But it's been 2 days since I posted something, and I feel super guilty because yesterday I got really busy. I have the episode of Cold Iron that I want to post edited, like I'd say about 70% edited, ready to go. And I've got like 5 other episodes waiting to drop, but I don't want to drop like Strixhaven, like in a row, and then like Strixhaven, you know, I don't want to keep dropping the same episode. I want to give like a little bit of variety. It is the spice of life. But then I feel guilty. So as soon as this game's done, I got to finish that Cold Iron and post it for tonight. And then I have to go back and finish editing all of Zero Sum, and which is Zero Sum is in this notebook, and then I can stop carrying this thing with me everywhere. Because Zero Sum only took this much of the notebook because I wasn't running the damn game. So wait until Zero Sum 2. Then I can use the rest of the notebook. Okay. Zero Sum 2 Submarine Boogaloo.
Electric Boogaloo. That's
Nuclear
like
Boogaloo.
that's a different Patreon game later.
Oh my god.
I have to figure out what that story would be, but I got a long time for that.
One sum. And we just count up from there. 2 sum, 3 sum, 4 sum. Every campaign every chronicle you run, Jen, should have a number in the title, like a Janet Ivanovich book. So 0 sum, and then like 1 for all, and then the next one is like Too Fast, Too Furious.
You remember why it's called 0 sum, though, right?
I know, but it's just I think it's a dumb idea, and we should always run with dumb ideas because they're fun. But I'm very excited about Technocracy Dominion. All right. So without further ado, I think it's time for us to head back into game here on Mage the Ascension the Victorian Age. We cut back in to find you sitting inside of the dining hall. Now, the dining car is well appointed. It's comfortable. The chairs are covered in a deep red Italian leather. The room is lit by electric sconces that line the ceiling, and there are 2 rows of tables, one designed for pairs and others designed for quartets, or in some places slightly larger. There are electric lamps as well as dark red and gold curtains that hang around the windows. The day is getting on. It's about 6 p.m. at this point. And as you are settling down to dinner, your waiter arrives. You are seated very, very, very punctually, and a man named Alfred Timmons, as he introduces himself, comes to act as your waiter. Good evening. My name is Alfred. I will be able to provide you with anything you would like tonight. First of all, would any of you like a beverage? Or perhaps some wine?
Wine would be lovely.
Yes, please.
Excellent. Now, would you care for the wine as an aperitif, or would you care to open a bottle for your enjoyment with dinner? Which tonight, we are beginning with an amuse-bouche of a quail egg with truffled hollandaise, followed by consommé à la royale, which is a clear veal broth with a gold leaf garnish. Our entree tonight is, for those of you who, everyone here eats meat, I'm assuming? Good.
Yes.
Is a filet de boeuf rosini, which is a beef tenderloin, served with foie gras and black truffle, as well as pommes dauphine. For vegetables, we have fresh in season Harkness verts de lyonnaise, as well as buttered baby carrots. We do have a fish course as well, if you would prefer fish over beef. Tonight it is trout lamandine, which is pan-seared trout served with an almond brown butter. There will also be a salad course, a frisée with a warm bacon vinaigrette. And for dessert, you have a choice of a baked Alaska with cognac flamme, or petit fours and chocolate truffles. Now for these, what I would suggest is, for digestif, we have an armagnac. We also have Turkish coffee or Darjeeling tea. For the wines, what we recommend is a Chateau Margaux. It's the 87. Very lovely, very lush, very full-bodied, but will not overwhelm the beef. If you're having the fish, however, we do have a Gewürztraminer from Alsace. It is subtle, lovely, pairs very, very well, and has light hints of citrus. So, what could I get you?
You said
For the-
beef?
Yes, I did say beef.
That seems good. Thank you.
Evelyn will take the fish option because we're still pretty close to the coast.
Yes.
So it should be very fresh.
And the Gort's demeanor with that?
Yes, please.
Excellent. And for you,
I'll
lovely
also have
ladies.
the fish.
The fish, all right, excellent. And Madame?
I'll have the beef.
Beef. Excellent. And for the digestif, would you prefer the armagnac, or would you prefer Turkish coffee, Darjeeling tea? We
I'll
also have
Take the tea.
Darjeeling. Fantastic. Good way to start your appetite off.
I'll just take a whiskey, if you have it.
Of course. I don't mean to imply, but we do have an Irish whiskey on, as well as a nice peaty Scotch.
She'll give him a look. I'll go for the Irish whiskey.
I assume so. Have no worries, madame. We do not carry any English whiskies. Should
That is
such,
good.
Evelyn's going
I
to go
know.
for the coffee.
of course.
I'll also have tea.
Tea, of course, of course. Although I would say, ma'am, miss, if you were looking to expand your horizons beyond the impeccable Irish whiskies that we do have in stock, we do have some lovely Kentucky bourbons. Perhaps for later.
Okay. As long as it's not Scotch, I'll be. You can. I'm willing to try new experiences. So feel free to bring out the bourbon from Kentucky. Is that America?
It is, yes. So it's a corn whiskey.
Oh, from corn. I'd be quite interested to taste that.
Absolutely. So we have two presently. We have a JTS Brown and we have a WL Weller. One is a wheated bourbon. It's a bit smoother and sweeter than the rye heavy blends. Very prestige. And the other is the Brown is... It's a smaller company, but it is growing in recognition among respectable parlors, gentlemen's lounges, things like that. Although, I do believe, now that I think about it, we do have a little bit of Old Crow, which is particularly favored by several American luminaries like Ulysses S. Grant or Samuel Clemens, Mark Twain.
I'll try the crow.
Old Crow it is. All right, so that was 1 tea, 2 tea, a coffee, and Old Crow, and an Irish whiskey. I'll be back with that in just a moment, and we'll put your order in for dinner. Please enjoy yourselves. If there's anything I can do for you, please remember, I'm just a moment away. He will depart.
Of course.
Leaving you there for a moment. Before long, he'll bring you back he'll bring you back 2 fingers of Powers whiskey. Actually, hold on 1 minute. Is it going to be... Let's see how good he is. 1 minute. I'm going to roll to see how good he is. Nope. He didn't do it. So he's going to be Powers from John Powers and Son. It's produced at John Lane's Distillery in Dublin. Full-bodied, spicy, served in finer clubs and hotels. The whiskey that he brings to you it's good. You've had it before. It's a little expensive, particularly this far away, but it is lovely. To be honest, you were kind of hoping he'd bring you some patties. It's from Cork Distilleries, and it was named after its founder, Paddy Flaherty. Very floral. It's a whiskey that you kind of grew up near. It was the fancy whiskey where you grew up. But will bring that over, as well as your Darjeeling teas, very soft, subtle notes to that. Quite lovely. And the Turkish coffee. Now, I have to ask, before Evelyn takes a drink, has Evelyn ever had a Turkish coffee?
I feel like she probably has, because she was trying to be a little adventurous that way in England.
So, once again, you are brought back to your studying days as the smell of this coffee hits the table. And as soon as it is poured in front of you, fresh out of this small, very intricate filigreed, kind of like a little French press, but different. The smell of the roast coffee is going to hit the table like a bull in full rampage. Now, for those of you drinking tea, this is going to be a little bit of a strong smell. For those of you drinking whiskey, it's going to actually pair pretty well. And as he returns, he is going to say, and I'm very sorry, I was just informed that our selection of white has changed for the fish. The Gwurts was a misselection on behalf of the kitchen. Might I suggest instead something with a little more smoothness? Either we do have an oaked Chardonnay as well as a Pinot Grigio. I would suggest the Pinot Grigio. It's much softer and drier. Should go well with the fish.
Certainly.
Excellent.
Take your recommendation.
Of course, of course. Then I'll be back momentarily with your meal. He departs, and you watch the sun set. From here, you get a clear view of the inside of the ocean. You're less than a mile from it here, and as you hurtle northward toward Jerusalem, the sun dips beyond the horizon, turning the water into fire. It is a beautiful, peaceful scene, and a quiet sweeps over your table that is rudely interrupted a moment later by the sound of coughing at a nearby table. Now, this room is packed at this point. There are people at every possible table filling in. You are at a four-person table along the left-hand side of the train, facing forward. On the right hand are the two-person tables. And at that table, you are going to see a young woman sit down. She is dressed in a frock coat and very, very loose garments. A look at her would say that she is probably around 13, 14 years old. Her face still holds a great deal of baby fat, and she looks like she might even have a little bit of a growth spurt left in her. At least she would if her eyes were not ringed with dark circles. Her cheeks, as chubby as they are, hang slightly sallow. Her skin is lacking the rosy hue of youth. She lowers herself into the table, and you can see that her chubby fingers have a bit of a tremor to them as she sits. Her hair is curled, wispy, under a bonnet or some other type of what's the term I'm thinking of in this day and age? It would be probably like a pill hat, something like that.
No, that's 50s.
Oh, that's right. What
That's
kind of
1950s. That's Jackie O.
Oh, that's Jackie. I'm thinking of a different thing. And
No. This Victorian age would be bonnets still, I think.
under a bonnet, yes. So, but anybody looking at her is going to see that like her hair is kind of thin. It's fine baby blonde curls. And she is going to sit next to you at the next table across the aisle from you. A moment later, your server will come and check in on her as well, and she will quietly and shakily order. I'm not certain that either will fit with me particularly well, but the salad would be good, as well as the soup. I will have what she is having. She nods and gestures at Darcie. Madame, I assure you that those are quite strong beverages. My joints are complaining a bit at the humidity. The barometric pressure is rising outside. I would prefer to be able to sleep through what is coming. Sir? Ma'am, I don't think... With all due respect, sir, were I to pay a man to think for me, I would be quite poor indeed. Understood. I will bring it right away. Yes.
Since we have our food, yeah, you said just came over and bought our food.
It is just coming out. Yeah, it's just in front of you.
Okay. Do you think there is either like basil or saffron on the beef dish?
Oh, 100%.
Okay. Darcie's gonna eat some basil and turn on life sight.
Basil gives you life sight?
Basil is a herb that has been known to improve eyesight.
That's ridiculous, and I love it. Okay, so give me a life sight. Give me that difficulty 4, please.
Yes.
Difficulty 5, because you're not pulling out your book.
Yeah, no, I'm not putting on my book for this. That's 4 successes.
So, looking at her, you think that you can see that there is... Well, first of all, looking at her aura, feeling it, you can feel her circulation, you can feel the way that the blood flows and the way that the healing energies of her body are stuck in places. Her joints, her fingertips, severely swollen. Her muscles are weaker than they should be. She's probably 13 or 14. But she has the ligaments of a woman in her 60s or 70s, by comparison. Her heart flutters, struggling to process the correct amount of blood. As well, the oxygen inside of her veins is lacking. Her breath is not reaching her extremities, is a little closer to the way that you would see it. As well, you can see that her immune system is compromised. Something is draining the life out of her. She has a number of infections. Colitis, as well as buildups in various organs. You can see that she's working on a bladder infection right now. All in all, this girl is dressed quite wealthily, and it is probably due to that wealth that she is still alive.
Okay, but no, like, nothing that kind of, it's all, is there any singular kind of cause? It's
So
just a bunch of problems?
Looking at this, I would say probably, I would say that it's probably polio.
Mm.
Polio and a weakened immune system. Were I to break it down, it's hard to give you these diagnoses because I could easily tell you that she has myocarditis, that she has amyloidosis, buildup of protein in her organs and things like that, and that she has something like juvenile idiopathic arthritis. But a lot of this is secondary. Basically, it's polio running rampant in her system, causing a bunch of the other systems to fail. Looking at her, you think that if she's 14 now, she probably won't have use of her legs by the time she's 16. That's a generous assumption, by the way.
Yeah.
She already speaks quietly with a bit of a wheeze. Very sorry. I didn't mean to address you like you weren't there, she says to you. I'm merely, I'm not a fan of caffeine. And I do hope to sleep through the storm.
Oh, no offense taken.
I wasn't sure I saw that you were staring.
It's always quite amusing when I feel a woman likes to put a man back in their place.
I find that a lot of men want to tell me how to take care of myself when there is no taking care of me. How rude of me. Sorry to interrupt your meal. Are you for traveling together as a group? No husbands or anything?
No, we're just we're just out on a adventure to see the world.
That sounds absolutely lovely. If I might,
Yourself?
I'm traveling to India to attend a ball, and to hope that the air agrees with me more than Europe's. My name is Clara. It's a pleasure to meet you, Clara von Richtenstein. I apologize in advance if I make any type of lexiconal errors. English isn't my first language, and I am still a recent study to it. I hope that I did not transgress it all, and that my verbiage has not slipped and made me appear quite the dullard.
No, I think you're speaking English better than I speak it, and I am a native, mostly. Darcie.
I thought you were Irish, she says with a twinkle.
That is true. I do speak a bit Irish, and she'll switch into Old Gaelic, but then she'll switch back. But yes, generally I speak English, unfortunately.
It's the language of the fairies, isn't it? Sorry, a bad joke. Wonderful to meet you. Darcie, ma'am, your drinks. The waiter will place down a pair of glasses. Sir?
Oh, real quick question there.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have millionaire sardines?
I have millionaire anchovies, yes.
That's what I meant. Yes, anchovies.
Of course.
May I get 5 cartons of them?
5 cartons or 5 cans?
How much are in a carton?
A carton usually, if I'm not mistaken, in the kitchen is 10 cans.
Can I get 2 cartons? I get real peckish when I sleep in the night, and instead of coming to the bar cart...
Ma'am, I would not deign to have you explain to me your particular appetites. I will see what I can do for you.
Thank you very much.
He nods and departs.
Mental note for later. Darcie's like, all right.
You are going to hear a guffaw from the next table. And the man that you got into that argument with earlier in the day is going to turn around and say, huh, well, the woman knows what she likes. The big American man that is unfortunately sharing a bunk with that spiritualist looks back at you. I'm sorry to say that we had a bit of a disagreement earlier, but I noticed right there that you've got a glass of Old Crow.
Oh, let me bet you're having a glass of Old Crow, aren't you?
I do appreciate Old Crow, yes. However, if I had to say that I'm a much bigger fan of Bond and Lillard. If any of you would be interested, I'd be happy to buy you a drink as an apology for my anger earlier. I shouldn't have let my companion rile me up so much. Especially not around such delicate ladies.
Or be it from me to turn down a free drink.
Garçon! Yeah, you. I know that you have a bottle of Bond and Lillard behind the counter there.
Evelyn's just going to sip her coffee.
Yes, of course. The waiter comes back with a bottle of Bond and Lillard, pours a glass for each of you.
You know, it says a lot about your character that you would apologize for your temper. Many men don't see the point.
You know, I wasn't going to, but I figured that there's an interesting story here, and I like the way that you... something about wanting all of the fish in the kitchen caught my attention. It's a lot of anchovies. What'd you do, smuggle
There's
a cat on
problem with
board?
liking anchovies?
10 cans of them? 10 tins? It's a lot of
We're
anchovies.
gonna be here a while.
And you want to get in on it before all of the tins are taken?
Aye, idiots are smart. We have a finite amount of resources here on the train. Better to stock up when you can, otherwise I'll be fighting for the fish, and you don't want to see me when I don't get my craving of anchovy satisfied.
You know, I couldn't agree more. When there's limited opportunities, you have to seize what's available. Take, for example, the American Civil War. Wonderful time to invest in ammunitions. My family did quite well with it. We built railroad lines. We transported munitions. We did whatever we could to preserve the nation.
I'm not sure I caught your name. What was the family? And of course, Chastity's going to be like, oh, of course, I'm Chastity Goodwin.
Chastity Goodwin. Nathaniel P. Calhoun. A pleasure.
Pleasure to meet you, Mr. Calhoun.
The pleasure's all mine. Well, if there's anything else that I can do for you ladies, please let me know. I'll be around this entire time. I'm curious, if you can hold a secret, I'm very curious how these, how the Brits do things. No, the Brits and the Germans. This train's interesting. Might have some things that we could incorporate back home. Now, Miss Chastity.
Mm-hmm.
I can't exactly place where you're from.
Most recently in New York.
New York.
Indirectly.
New York's a very interesting city.
That it is.
Wow. Chastity Goodwin of New York. I would love a chance to pick your brain about some things as a fellow American here.
Of course.
If you ever see me in the bar car or hanging around here, feel free. I'd love to
I get
learn.
the feeling I'll be frequenting the bar car rather frequently.
As will I. Well, when my beef is done, and hopefully our beef is concluded as well. Cheers.
Apologies, always appreciated and accepted.
And of course, cheers.
The bourbon's solid. The anybody who drinks Bond and Lillard, it is it's all right. Like, it's not as good. Like, Old Crow has a much stronger taste to it. It's much more comforting. Whereas taking a drink of the Lillards, you are going to it's a mellow spice. And as he is taking a walk away, yes, absolutely, I'm seeing our private chat there. Chastity, if you want to make me a perception and empathy roll, you absolutely can.
And what's my difficulty?
Difficulty on this, let me see how much I can. 6. Well, it's going to be a contested roll. Well, it would be
and
without
that's
that
2
one.
successes.
2 successes, okay. He's a little drunk. That is not his first glass. He holds his alcohol well, and you couldn't smell it coming off of him at this distance, but you definitely, looking into his eyes, you could see a little bit of a glaze on top of them. His speech doesn't slur, but he's a little more merry. He definitely is the type of man who has more of a temper when he hasn't been drinking. But now that he's been able to settle in and have a couple of drinks and excuse himself away from his French roommate, he seems to be a much more pleasant human. Besides that, you're going to gather 2 things from that brief empathy check, kind of looking at his interaction. The first is going to be, he seems like he's a bit out of his comfort zone here. As much as the man has obvious amounts of money and is probably a world traveler, you can see that he probably feels much more comfortable on the home front. And the idea of talking to someone with the same accent as him probably is more appealing than he'd like to admit. The other is that his eyes do stray a couple of times along your neckline and shoulders. And he probably would not be adverse to other types of discussion. But also, Chastity's appearance score is what?
Right now it's just 3.
She's still, that's pretty.
I put her charisma at 4 and manipulation 4, so I feel like even if the appearance isn't just like knocking
she got
it out
Riz
of the
behind it.
ballpark. Yeah.
So you have 4 attractive women sitting at a table, and apparently you're his type.
Huh.
But he's not being overt about it, at least.
That's good.
I am trying, for those out of character, I am trying to convince Chastity to become Chris Ross's technocrat from my Mage LARP's grandma, or great-grandma.
That would be amazing. Yes, you said Calhoun, and I went,
Hilarious. Oh yeah.
Wait a
yeah,
second.
100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
was that his name or
Suddenly,
his last name?
there's the double entendre I just did of chokes on Syndicate.
Yeah.
Also, well, since we're kind of taking a bit of a inter pause here, because you said he's bunking, assuming he's in first class or second class then.
So he is in second class, yes.
Okay.
So and I will put him in his room actually for you. He is, or I'll tell you where he is. He is staying in the Princess Alice room. Actually, you know what? I'll just pop it in right here. Boop. Where is it? Princess.
So I also know Chris Ross had started listening to Victorian Era, and so this is going to be an interesting moment when he finally gets here.
This is true. It's true. So you'll eventually find him. He's in bunk 3 of the sleeping car for doubles. I'll update this between games too. So there you go. So that's him, and he was placed with Armand Levesque, the French spiritualist. Calhoun the Tycoon. All right. So as he departs, Clara will lean over and say, I think he fancies you, Miss Chastity.
Oh, do you?
Perhaps? Are you here looking for a man?
Not in the slightest.
Are you here looking for a woman?
Not in particularly. I'm not really looking for anyone right now. In that regard. I am looking for people,
Nor I.
but not.
I'm being sent away to a ball to find someone to marry.
Well,
Not particularly interested myself.
well, there are plenty of ways to get around it.
I would, but there are greater forces at work. And the door is going to open, and a rather stocky woman is going to enter, dressed in much more humble, like working class clothes, is going to look around, see Clara take a sip of whiskey and start choking, and is going to say, Baroness, what are you doing? And is going to take a step forward, try to pull the glass out of her hand. I'm merely trying to have
Why
a drink.
would you do that? You're going to
It is-
splash or drop something.
It is not good for your constitution. You must be careful. She starts speaking at her in Swiss, and starts just. You do not need to speak the language to know that this is probably her handmaid. The woman is like solidly built, kind of looks like she could have been like backup rugby player type of build. Very square, in her 30s, maybe 40. Definitely looks like she's gonna probably be a spinster for her entire life, and just is reading her the riot act in whatever dialect of German, Swiss, or Austrian she's speaking. I don't believe any of you speak German or Germanic. Maybe Evelyn does.
Evelyn?
I think Evelyn does, actually, now that I think about it.
I speak German and French.
Okay. Well, that's going to be enough to pick this up, because I'll say that they're Austrian, actually, because that makes me happier. You are going to hear basically the German equivalent of, what do you think you're all doing there? You can't do, because that's kind of what, or actually Austrian, according to what I understand, Austrian to German sounds like, Oh my god, what are you doing? You can't do that. Like, it's very lispy, it's very effeminate, to the point that in German, Arnold Schwarzenegger's voice is dubbed by another actor because they don't want the T-800 walking around being like, give me your clothes. Is kind of the vibe. So it's a very effete type of accent. In this case, you are going to see her just giving Clara the absolute riot act about how she should be back in her room, that she should be taking care of herself, that she needs to watch herself, and she shouldn't be having alcohols like this. She has tonics back in her room that should be able to help, that should be able to suppress some of her symptoms. There are cannabinoids, there is coca leaf, there is all sorts of tinctures that have been bought that she should be having instead of this alcohol. This is not going to be good. It's whiskey, it's firewater, it's going to burn your throat, it's going to pickle you from the inside out. And you can just see Clara getting redder and redder and redder. Until it looks like her exhausted cheeks are about to pop like overripe cherry tomatoes.
I have no idea what's going on in this conversation, but I
Potentially
can live a little.
dinner conversation.
Excuse me? It is my place to make sure that my lady is taken care of.
I imagine souring her dinner, though, would not help. Potentially wait to eat?
Yes. Perhaps... Yes. She should not be having this. It is not good for her. And you're not eating nothing with meat in it. A little bit of bacon won't kill me, Ava. Besides, animal proteins are good for fortitude. I read that recently. Fine.
The thick woman, the handmaiden, Ava, badgers the waiter for the beef and insists that he pair it with a gwurts. He disgruntledly will provide it. The rest of dinner is nice and pleasant. Ava does lean in to adjust some things, to take the salt shaker out of the young Baroness's hand, but she doesn't intrude on your conversations. In truth, she doesn't speak good enough English to do so. And perhaps that's another reason that Clara uses particularly highfalutin English words. Big ones that sneak right past her handmaiden.
I suppose that I should be heading back to my room. If any of you are ever looking for someone to dine with, I would be more than happy to join you. It's wonderful to have other women.
Do you want to stay for after dinner drink? They have something called baked. Did you try the baked Alaska? I don't know what it is, but it sounds. I don't know how you can bake a state. Is that what? Yeah, it's called states.
It's more of a territory, really, but yes.
And I understand the tea is quite good. It might be very aid digestion afterwards.
No, only herbal tea. No caffeine.
I am sure they have tea.
She says that, and
Yeah,
meanwhile,
see?
the tinctures that she wishes to impart to me contain cocaine. So, I don't think she understands the invigorance that she plies.
Chastity with her 2 points in Vice going, huh.
This, and the thing is, Chastity, and like Amy, you know, this stuff was available over the counter at this point, right?
Oh, for sure.
Oh yeah.
Cocaine was in everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's... But, I mean, and she's sort of thinking, like, versus, like, they're all... Don't think that the tea's gonna do any harm.
Fair. I think I will stay. Ava, I will head back to my room in a bit. I would like to enjoy Baked Alaska with these ladies. And she's going to say in German something that only Evelyn will get, which is the equivalent of, fine, but if it has dairy in it, I will not be the one wiping your asshole, Baroness. At which point, Clara will gently respond, I would pay you to not. Thank you for your crude existence. But eventually, Ava will depart.
Does Clara look like she have any of her tinctures on her, or is it all in the room?
Let's find... You know what? So nothing on her, but as Ava is leaving, she will reach into her side bag and pull out about like an old Coke-sized bottle, you know, like one of the little 6 to 8 ounce ones, set it on the table, and it's this cylinder with an imprint on the side that is going to be a tonic medicine. Take this if you're going to have the tea. I will be waiting for you in your room to put you down. Of course. And she departs. What you are going to see is that this is Dr. Varelli's Elixir of Calming Vigor.
Snake oil.
Yeah. Okay. Darcie's plan.
Yep.
In the mind of Darcie, and if the opportunity presents itself, Kelly, in the next bit, or if there's a way that I can make this opportunity happen, Darcie would like to actually slightly infuse this snake oil with some healing that is just a small effect that will slowly actually cure her, but she wants to find a way to sneak it away and do this and then bring it back. If at any point it presents itself, that is Darcie's plan.
Sure. I mean, she plans to leave it on the table, so you could easily do that.
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't want to do it in front of anyone. I want to sneak away with it and not be obvious that I stole it and, like, messed with it.
Sounds good. That sounds good.
Yeah, so that is in Darcie's mind right now, is to try and actually make a helpful elixir for her that will slowly cure her. Because that's fine, I'm sure.
All right. So, you are going to easily do so. But what I want you to do is make me a dexterity and larceny? Nope, it's not on the sheet. Dexterity and...
Subterfuge?
Sure. That sounds fantastic to me.
Or stealth? Or stealth? There's actually a stealth.
Let's do
thing.
stealth.
Cap. Do fast reflexes apply?
Yes.
Cap. What is my difficulty?
Difficulty is going to be 6. The train is going to hit a bit of a bump and or a bit of a rock to the side, and that is when you're going to be able to have your chance.
Cool. Oh gosh, that one is rude. That's 1 success. Because that one.
All right. So, as the train veers on an angle around a particularly sharp curve. Some of the glassware is going to slide. Someone's fork is going to hit the floor, and you are going to be able to like lean over and like under the guise of like steadying her so that she doesn't slip. Just grab the bottle. All right, you have it. What's everybody else doing during this meal?
Evelyn's going to lean over to Clara and just in German let her know that potentially she should remind her handmaiden that many Europeans do travel.
She wants what's best for me, but she oversteps her bounds. She's been my handmaiden since I was born, and she's from rough stock, but she does care. Perhaps too much. But very duly noted. Honestly, I'm happy to see so many non-Germans here. It does get a bit embarrassing. Trying to be presented as the belle of the ball, being trotted around by a pig. A well-meaning pig.
Of course.
A lovely, well-meaning pig. Still a pig. Oh, I never asked. Why is it that all of you are traveling to India unless you're getting off beforehand? Please tell me that you're not. I would very much like it if you were coming with us all of the way to... well, the end of the line.
Christine's suddenly drawing a blank on where we're going.
Bombay.
You're going Bombay.
Right?
Yes. I was like, wait, what? Crap. We are going to Bombay. More out of
Good.
ability and interest more than anything.
It must be wonderful to be so free.
Now, does her name feel at all familiar? For being like, because it sounds like she's a baroness, so it
you
must
can
be
make
a
me,
fairly high-paced name.
Yeah, sure. You can make me a knowledge. You can make me an intelligence and politics roll.
Okay,
Do you have any politics?
dang it. I do not.
Okay, then you can't make the roll, unfortunately. But do you have dream as a background?
I do, actually.
You could choose to summon it for the day to gain knowledge of politics.
Sure, let's do that. One point
Okay,
of
so-
politics, please.
So for focusing on that, what I need you to do is make me a... oh, what's the dream roll again? I think it's a meditation
don't
roll.
remember.
I believe it's... okay, tell you what. Roll me 4 dice and tell me what you get. Any of them
Okay,
8 or above?
That is 2 8s,
Of course it is.
a 2, and a 3.
Perfect. All right. So I'm pretty sure that's a decent pool for you. So you are going to be able to gain actually several points of politics. You said 2 successes at 8?
Yes.
Okay. You're going to gain 2 points. What's your dream score?
1.
Okay. I think you will only gain 1.
You gain how many points you have in dream in the
Yeah.
skill you
Okay.
want.
That was my
Cool.
thought.
So it is perception plus dream to gain insights into a question at hand.
Oh, so you
is
gain...
what-
oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah,
They
so it's
changed-
perception and dream, roll to succeed.
Well, it doesn't matter.
get
She
to
already
substitute
succeeded, so that's
another
good.
ability. Yeah.
Okay, so you'll gain a point of politics. You can make me an intelligence politics roll.
Okay. And difficulty?
Difficulty of, we'll say 7.
Okay. That is 3 successes then.
All right. Clara Elise von Liechtenstein is Austro-Hungarian. She is She speaks with a high Viennese accent. She is definitely pale, blonde, and she is not particularly wealthy. Her family was, they're basically in genteel poverty, or at least on the edge of it, brought low by the Austro-Prussian Wars. Given her accent, you seem to remember something about them living in Vienna now, and is probably being sent to go find a wealthy colonial husband out of the many Europeans that are setting up stock, or setting up their wealth in India. But you know that her fellow Bohemians are, well, her family is very poor. She is the only surviving child from this house. Her older brothers, of which there were 3, all died in wars or from polio. And she, you think, is probably something like 12th in line for the Habsburg crown. But it's like, it would require a very specific, like, pinball of deaths. So she's got some money, but basically for nobility, the von Richtensteins are on the verge of being unlanded aristocracy. As, you know, many aristocrats were in this day and age. Was there anything else that you were kind of trying to gain from that?
Just to basically see if it felt at all familiar along the lines of, like, technocratic.
Hmm. You don't think so?
Cool.
No. So the von... Oh, speaking of which, Darcie, I have Braun's sheet right here. It's in my book.
You made one for him?
Yeah.
Oh, can you send it to me? Because I didn't ever make one.
Yeah, also, his name was originally spelled B-R-O-N. Not Bran.
Nope, not on my survey. Not my survey. So
okay.
that must be your typo, because it's not my survey. Bran is specifically a Celtic god.
So's Bran. But there we go. Sent. I don't think I picked his backgrounds, but there you go. Enjoy. I didn't realize that was there. He has the advantage. No, but the von Richtensteins are not technocratic. You are not surrounded on all angles, thankfully. And with that, does anyone do anything else through the remainder of the meal?
I don't think so.
All right. When the meal ends, you've spent about an hour and a half there, and that's about the point that the storm starts rolling in. The train holds up to it well, but there is an absolute torrent of wind and rain that starts smattering the side of the train. Yes, Darcie.
So I think at some point during the meal, sorry, I was hitting and saving that message. Darcie would have snuck off to the bathroom and then tried to sneak back with the tonic.
I think you might want some more time to do this, to infuse this. This might be a longer ritual than just doing it in the bathroom, especially because you're going to be seeing her over the course of like a week. So you've got some time to do this.
Okay. Yeah, I just don't know if it'd be very obvious that it got lost. So I'm doing quick casting, but...
Nah, if you want this thing to work, if you want to counter polio, you're going to need some more successes.
Okay, sounds good. Then yeah, never mind.
I get the sneaking suspicion she might not mind terribly much if someone borrows it for a bit. She doesn't seem like she wants to drink it.
Yeah, it probably doesn't taste great.
What do I know?
It's just a bottle of Buckley's. Tastes horrible, but it works.
That's what'll be after Darcie deals with it.
Oh, okay. All right. The train rocks
Darcy
back.
Vince Buckley's.
Oh, God. Darcy Buckley, that's your new name. The train rocks back and forth as it enters the storm. It holds tight to the tracks, though, and as the windows rattle a bit in their frames. Holding strong, you head off into the darkness of night, making your way ever northward toward Jerusalem and the rest of your voyage. Now, as that is there, you're going to hear the rolling sound of thunder overhead, drowning out the interior of the train. Occasionally, one of the whistles will break the silence. And as you head back to your rooms, Darcie, you go back to the Gold Suite and begin working on this remedy. But I think we're going to focus on the other room for now. In the Black Suite, Evelyn, Josephine, as you settle in and prepare to read, study, do something for Marrow Taster, or whatnot. A little past 9 o'clock, as the storm hits fully, there's going to be a knock at your door.
Are we expecting anyone? Josephine saying that out loud to Evelyn.
I don't think so. Well, Evelyn will, I guess, get up then and go see what is happening.
Okay. Opening the door in front of you, you can see that there is a tall man standing there, long black hair braided down the side of his neck. It's Henry Matto. Doctor, is this a bad time?
Not at all. It's Henry. She'll say
I
over
said
her
I-
shoulder to Josephine.
Miss Carrington? I said I would come by later to speak with you of a matter.
Yes.
I did not realize that you did not all have your own accommodations.
Do you want me to leave, Evelyn, or do you want a chaperone?
I think I'm capable.
So, Josephine, are you heading out,
If-
or?
If they make room for me to leave through the door, which is the only way out of the place,
Oh, there's always
Evelyn
the
will
window.
stand to the side.
Okay.
then yes, Josephine will leave and go like knock on the other carriage and be, guess what's happening?
So I guess we're gonna smash cut over there as Darcie returned.
Knock, 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 knock.
So we're gonna rewind time a bit as they got to the room, and Bran is going to sleepily look up from the desk. Well, look what me dragged in.
Oh God, don't do that.
How was dinner,
let's-
Darcie? Oh, you smell like whiskey and beef.
Let me just grab Clementine real quick. Jess is gonna kind of usher. I'm guessing the dog's probably sleeping or something.
Yep.
Darcy's gonna
Yeah,
reach.
she's gonna
into-
usher him out. Because I'm like, food things. Let's not get the dog riled up, and is gonna start taking him out to go on like wander back up and down the train and get him some food.
Sounds good.
Darcy will like take a tin out from a carton and crack it.
He wakes up immediately, his ears shooting up like rockets. That's the most heavenly noise in the world.
I know, and I've got 10 of them.
10?
Cans, yes. Tins.
10 tins?
Yeah, don't go eating them all at once, otherwise you'll make yourself sick, and I'm not dealing with that.
I would
One
never
for
do
each
such
day.
a thing. I am a proper gentleman.
1 per day. We're going to ration it.
Hey, put it on the ground, put it on the ground, put it on the ground or somewhere.
Puts it on the ground.
He's going to start snarfing through it. His rough tongue shearing through the anchovies like a knife. And as he is in the middle of this, you're going to hear a banging on the door.
Come in. Darcie will open up the door.
Josephine, just her eyes big. Evelyn kicked me out of our carriage.
What is she doing in there?
Henry stopped by.
Oh, who is she doing in there is the real question. Or opens, brings Josephine in and closes the door.
Who is she doing as the other... Oh, sorry, I'm late. And he's going to go back to eating.
I've got Bran his sardines. He's very happy. I can feel it through the bond. I don't think I've ever felt you this happy, Bran.
I haven't felt you this happy since you were hanging out with that Sam guy.
Sorry, I can't hear you. Eat your sardines.
It's dirt. All right. And I need to know, is anybody trying to listen through the wall?
Yes. 100% glass to the door. Or
Now here's
good
the question,
to the wall.
are you using forces to make that work?
Forces? 100%.
Yeah.
Oh my
And
god.
Evelyn
All right.
knows full well there is no actual privacy here. We're just doing it for Henry's sake.
All right,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you guys,
Forces roll or?
yeah, go ahead and give me a forces roll, difficulty of 3 because it's dorky and I'm gonna let it happen.
3 successes.
I flat fail.
You flat fail.
I rolled 2 1s and 2 successes. And the only reason I didn't like, well, I mean, I would have rolled a success anyway, but I had an 8 and a 3 as my successes.
I'll let you spend a willpower retroactively because you'll just keep going
Cool.
if otherwise. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're gonna force it through. It'll last long enough. It's a bare bones effect. So, in the other room, we cut to that. Are you're sure that you're fine meeting with me one-on-one like this?
Quite frankly, Henry, if I didn't like what you do, in any way, shape, or form, I can most certainly make you regret it. Are you comfortable?
With you, yes. With some of the situations presently, no. And that's why I wanted to come and speak with you. First and foremost. There are many things I want to speak to you of tonight. But I would like to start with something that does not... I would like to start with the strange one.
All right.
Your friend, Darcie.
Yes.
What is her intention with my Sam?
I don't know if she's quite aware of what intention might be. But she certainly wouldn't keep flirting with him like this, I don't think, if she wasn't at least a little interested.
It is maddening to watch.
It is.
It is like watching a dog chase a train.
Interested.
The dog will not know what to do if it catches the train, but yet it keeps chasing.
If Sam ever does figure out what he's thinking, A word of warning is that she's had some bad experiences recently with men.
This makes sense. The two of them are well suited for one another in that regard.
They're very similar.
Sam,
I'm imagining we're hearing a little foot stomp from the other room too at this point.
No, Josephine is like tackling Darcie to not make Darcie do anything.
there are many similarities between them. It is unfortunate. I do not know what type of difficulties Darcie has faced with men, but Sam is still healing. We have been friends for almost 8 years. Since he began his foolhardy adventures out west. I have had to keep his stupid ass alive.
That sounds like you have quite a strong friendship then.
Yes, he briefly courted my sister. It ended poorly.
Yet it seems like you remain brothers.
We are. She passed away.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yes. I have come to terms with it. I know where her soul walks. I have no illusions of where we go when it is over. And I have no fear of that. Sam is not so lucky. He is an agnostic. He is a good friend. He is my brother in many ways. And he is very fragile. And I will be very angered if your friend hurts him.
If she does, it won't be deliberate. But potentially through mixed communication. I have a feeling they both have the ability to do it to each other.
I don't think that they have a different way of speaking with each other, aside from miscommunication.
You're not wrong. It is very painful.
Perhaps they will find a singular
Though I will
language.
also return it if Sam is not careful, you will have 4 very pissed off women to deal with.
Perhaps we should play matchmaker. Rip the bandage off.
What, do you think locking them in a room would actually work? I think they'd kill each other.
There may be blood, but I am not certain if it would be marital or... well...
I feel like it might be a bit more than that. I think they might come out looking like they had a prize fight since they've already had one.
It has been a long time since Sam has had a prize fight. I think it would be a much shorter fight.
Did you lose the last one? To Darcie?
I was speaking in euphemism.
Ah. I don't know. Most of the options, I don't necessarily know if they'd work very well. Getting them drunk, they might just not remember.
That already happened. I was chaperoning. That was perhaps the closest they came.
Right. I'm trying to think if there's anything we could put in their tea. Just to, like, chill them out? Like, mellow? Relax? So they're not quite so argumentative? We could ask Chastity. She might help. She's quite good at that sort of thing.
Good. We should do so. Then we're in agreement that they are ridiculous.
Yes.
And that your friend Darcie's intentions are innocent, if somewhat ignorant.
Yes.
Good. Then I apologize for coming here to speak to you about another woman. If you would like to call Josephine in as a chaperone again, I would like to turn our conversation toward different matters.
Depending on the matters, I don't think I need a chaperone.
Now, when he walked in, he had his jacket over his arm and set it down on the couch that he's sitting on. I was able to find you these before we boarded the train. I'm certain that you would be able to keep them alive longer than I. He adjusts his jacket and hands you a small bouquet of Egyptian water lilies.
Ooh. I think she's gonna probably get a little bit of a flush and just be like, oh, they're lovely. Thank you.
Doctor, I have noticed you watching me. With these flowers, please know that I intend to reciprocate courtship. If you would be interested.
She's very conflicted in this moment because she is still married.
Did I misread? I noticed that you hesitate.
No. But you should probably be aware in advance. I don't know if he still survives, but I am technically still married.
Do you appreciate this man?
Who he used to be. But I can't forgive what he's done. And I don't know if he will necessarily be around much longer, as he's fallen in with a group that is, dangerous.
You white people do things very strangely. I've always thought so. The Diné always thought so. Where I come from, you have all of the power, Evelyn. In the Diné, the women are responsible for deciding whether a marriage should end, primarily. Were you from my people, you would have simply gathered this man's things and left them outside of your door. A clear sign that he should sod off.
A much more practical way of doing things.
Women own the land. Women own the housing. Women... Women are in command. I know that you are not of the people, but if you say that it is over, where I come from, that means that it is over. And I have no hesitations or concerns on my behalf.
Then yes, I would find a courtship very agreeable.
Then if you would not mind, perhaps we start this off with a kiss.
She'll hold out a hand for him then and take a bit of a lead on that.
Okay. He is going to hold your hand, kiss the back of it, and then raise his rough, calloused hands to your cheek, and we will fade to black on what is occurring in that room. Which you guys are still listening in on the other room.
Yep. Yep. Darcie and Josephine just to the door.
Josephine stops once they stop talking about Darcie.
I also love the idea of Chastity coming back and opening the door into like to the gold room and seeing Darcie and like.
Oh, we're going to be there in just a second. Meanwhile, as all of this is transpiring, back between the cars, you are walking your dog around back and forth, trying to get it to finish its daily tasks. And as you take Clementine back and forth, can you please make me a perception and alertness roll?
All right, perception and alertness. Okay. What's my difficulty?
Difficulty of 6.
Ooh, okay. That is 4 successes. Damn, I wish I could roll like this more often.
As you are walking back and forth up the hallway, trying to find a good place for your dog to lose themselves in the moment. Probably, are you carrying like some broad paper or anything like that for it to
Yeah, I think
go
she
on?
probably consulted with someone on like one of the staff. They probably will direct her to what the best way to do is.
Probably
Because
just
they know
put some
she got
broadsheets
brought the dog
down.
on. Yeah, and they were going to be sourcing food for it too, so.
You are going to be passing back and forth, looking for something. And as you do so, you are going to find yourself in the second-class sleeping car, going up and down the rows. And that is when you are going to notice that one of the doors now all of these doors are brand new, but this one toward the end of the row is scratched up around the door, like the keyhole. And on the inside,
perhaps some, crimes or something.
And as you're glancing down, you're going to hear the sound of something break inside of the room. A vase is knocked over.
Gonna slow down and kind of try and do some like quieter steps, or like a little harder to do with the dog, but we're gonna try it.
Okay. The dog is going to look up at you and raise its hackle slightly, but not growl.
Is the light on in the room, or is it dark?
There is a light on in the room. Well, no. There's a light under the door for just a minute as you pass by. But someone has some type of lantern or flashlight. When was the flashlight invented? Now I need to know that.
I figure if there's like a convenient like corner like around the edge or something that she can go to like make it look like she's minding her own business, but if the person opens the door and leaves, she can kind of get a glance at them.
All right, that sounds good. Make me a Dex and Stealth roll.
Alright. What is my difficulty?
Difficulty of, with the dog, 7.
Okay. 2 successes. Oh my god. Thank goodness.
All right, 2 successes. You are going to be hiding around the corner, and that beats my 1 success. There's going to be a bit of banging, and then the door is going to slide open, and someone dressed in dark clothes with the lapels pulled up around their shoulders is going to depart and rush forward in the train toward your sleeping cars. Can you make me a perception and alertness roll to get a sense of them?
Okay. My difficulty?
Difficulty on this, I'm going to be making a stealth roll to hide my appearance, so it's going to be difficulty 6, but it's going to be contested.
Okay.
I will spend a willpower
I got 3
on this.
successes. I spent three successes, and can I? This is probably difficult to do, but if I at least see their figure or can perceive them, can I like identify their mind pattern or like put a tag on them mentally or primally
go ahead.
or something?
Make me an arete check.
Okay. Now I still have my 1 effect that I put up. What's my difficulty?
Difficult, only 1 effect, then difficulty 4.
Okay. 2 successes.
Okay, you will recognize a mind pattern. The mind pattern is someone who identifies as a man. They are in their early 40s. And if you had to guess, you'd say very fearful, very aggressive type of person. And they rush north. Well, I guess technically that is north. They rush forward into the next car.
Is it away from me, or would they pass me?
Away from you.
Okay. But heading towards our sleeping car.
Yes. They do not bother to shut the door behind them as they rush out in a hurry.
No, just make a quick mental note of which room it is.
Okay. Sounds good.
And make sure there's not like a body lying on the floor.
There is not. So the room
Okay, cool.
that he just rushed out of was there we go. Was room 7 of this car. Do you want to peek into that room?
Just very quickly, just like she just wants to glance in to make sure there's not like a dead person there, which is going to be a problem.
Make me a wits and investigation.
Okay, difficulty?
Difficulty of 7 because the room is dark now.
Okay. Oh, are you joking? Well, that's no success because the 1 took away my success.
Okay. Sounds good. The room is too dark to really notice anything, but there's no body. It looks like a men's room, though, and the room is quite tossed. Your dog is going to sniff and his hackles are going to raise, and then Clementine is going to pull, trying to get the hell away from here. Something is bothering him.
Then that's a good sign that we're going to head back to our rooms because that's weird.
Okay. All right. With the rain shaking the windows of the train, you head back in and are going to have the weirdest, like, guys, you'll never believe kind of thought as you open the door and see that Josephine and Darcie, Darcie looking as red as her hair, are pressing their ears against the wall, listening to the other dove room.
What are you two doing? And I feel like Clementine's probably gonna like do something stupid, like jump up and try and tackle one of them or both of them, like excited dog things.
Clementine is going to go after the tin of open anchovies, and there is going to be a race around the room with Bran screaming in Scottish angry cat at him.
And probably a lot of like some clattering.
My cat's a Scot.
I've always portrayed him with a Scottish accent, but
I know.
I can switch it to Irish. He came out wrong.
No. Sean Connery, but he can come out Scot, but he can be from he can be a Scottish familiar.
Yeah, well, I mean, Sean Connery played an Egyptian, who was a Spaniard, Egyptian Spaniard.
Yeah. No, I specifically chose the Sean Connery accent for him, so I like that accent.
Get away from me, you bloody dog! Get these are my anchovies.
Right. What? I have so many questions.
Just.
Where's Evelyn? If you two are in here.
Henry came to visit.
Oh.
I think Josephine's going to take this opportunity to like step away from. Josephine was already stepping away from the wall because they finished talking about Darcie. I think at that point.
Yeah, Darcie's going to be moving away from the wall at that point too. You know.
All right. Stepping away from the wall, you're going to notice that Darcie's face is incredibly red. What do you do?
Darcie's going to try and grab Bran from Clementine.
Josephine will hurriedly explain what they overheard.
It's great. I'm trying to like wrestle Clementine back.
Even more red.
Right. That's great. So
how was your
someone
walk?
was breaking into other rooms?
What?
I don't know, it just might be important to know.
Did you get
Other
a good
car.
look at them?
Not in the slightest. I did get a sense of their mind though.
Oh, and what was that?
Fearful. Aggressive.
So what you're saying is we shouldn't leave our rooms without a guard of some sort?
Yeah, locking them.
I mean,
and just potentially boosting them.
Yeah, we just maybe be careful. I'll be trying to keep an eye out to see if I can identify them. I mean, if they're not going near us, I don't really care. But
was it
they're
rooting
through people's rooms.
Second class?
What? It was car 7? Room 7. Room 7. I don't remember which car room 7 is in.
It's in the next one. The next
car over. Okay, yeah, so next Just the next car. It would have passed by here. But
You were listening a little too intently to notice at that point.
We wouldn't know at what point because we were listening too intently.
It's true.
We just didn't
That's
hear
fair.
anything.
So it was room 7. So it would
In
be
the Prince
the
Albert
second-
card. So in the sleeper cars.
In the Albert car.
Hmm.
Oh, there's only 6 rooms. There's a 7th room.
Nope. There's only 6 in your car. There are 12 in the next one. Or 16?
I think the rooms are smaller over there.
They are much smaller. Are you...
Okay, you mean... Sorry, when you're saying next car, I'm looking at the thing and going, dining car is the next car beside us. So that's where I got confused. We're talking about the next car.
Talking about
I mean,
the-
either way, that can be what Darcie infers either, because she's like, oh no,
That's
other
true.
way, other
That's
way,
true.
other way.
Yeah.
Um.
So, sorry. So someone's sitting in the next car beside us, so we should be more concerned. Or is it farther down the train?
Well, next. Sleeping car.
the double sleepers.
Okay.
Are we talking about the thing I stole?
What? No?
Oh, okay, because that's what I had to go in the first place, was the second-class sleeper cars.
Do you happen to know what room?
Room 7?
Well, isn't
Why?
that interesting? Well, because whoever they were was rummaging through room 7. And I don't think you know how to pick locks, do you?
I don't have to answer that, do I?
Well, I mean, there was evidence that someone had picked the lock, so I'm guessing whoever was in there wasn't supposed to be in there. And
Ah,
it wasn't you. So why is someone else trying to break into room 7?
that's a great question for you to ask. But as you ask that, we're going to transition back through the wall of the car into the next room. And inside of the Black Suite, Evelyn, the thrill of the kiss and the emotions and all of the freedom that you feel, mixed with the sour stomach feeling of the dissolution of your marriage with James, sit with you for just a moment. You lock eyes with this beautiful man with his deep brown eyes. He is so close that you can feel the heat radiating off of his chest. He leans a bit closer, bats those delectable eyelashes, and says, Evelyn, what in the name of all that is holy is that? He says, as you look over your shoulder and see Marrow Taster peeking out from behind the pillow on the bed. And I think that's where we're going to call game.
I was wondering if that was going to happen.
Well, you said you needed a guard for the room. He's here to guard your virtue. Cock blocked by
He's
Marrow Taster.
married!
I was going to say, what virtue?
That's fair. That's fair. Your renewed virtue? Your renewed virtue.
It
I didn't know you
doesn't
could
come
renew
back.
Nope.
According.
You just have a
Is
lot
this
more
like a
freedom.
subscription?
Yeah.
I don't know. You could use a life spell.
Virtue
Actually, I'm pretty-
subscription?
Virtue subscription.
Why would
I
you
hate-
want to?
I hate that I have
Women
ver-
get screwed
have
by
the-
that all the time.
I have they do get screwed by that. I have the basic virtue, like I still get ads. You need virtue plus, then you just don't get ads. Hey folks, thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Mage the Ascension the Victorian Age. I hope you had fun with this one. We're going to be back in 2 weeks with another episode, but it's going to be on a Wednesday like normal. So I hope you sit down and enjoy that. A big thank you to everybody who supports us on Patreon. Patreon is, of course, the best way to support this channel because this is a labor of love and a full-time gig. So if you want to see this game continue to grow and prosper, join the Patreon. If you want to see the brand new Mage game that we are running, join the Patreon. It's about the same price as a cup of coffee at Starbucks. And you know what? It goes straight to me so I can drink that coffee. Cheers. Bing. But also helps me pay like things like a rent. So please consider joining the Patreon. It does help keep the stream alive. A big thank you to everybody who does that, by the way, like our amazing Patreons, the divine producers, my mom, hello, as well as Shikon Dave Vermillion, our demonic producer, Sorcerer Sanguine, our wizards of the Patreon, Tammy the Forever Cleric, the Ink Goblin, Karasha Urquhart, and Big Nut, our monster makers, Soul Omen and Larouk, and our High Council, Taryn, Amberthist, Raven with Baubles, the entity known as Chef Aladeth, Mike Baxter, Brian Kaler, Nerdy Metal Gent, Grumpy Owl, Lost Hero, and Nihilus. You guys are all amazing, as is everybody else on the Patreon. Only 2 more weeks until Mage Dominion begins. And I'm not freaking out, you're freaking out. But it's going to be a hell of a lot of fun, as is everything else that you can see on Dork Tales. Plus a bunch of new stuff that I'm working on for the Patreon primarily. Also, we'll be back tomorrow night with another episode of Keys from the Golden Vault, ran by Asterix VTuber, who's concluding our little run through his episode of Golden Vault. Tuesdays, the Shards of Nirn, and then Wednesday night, we're doing some back-end work off stream, so there's no Transylvania Chronicles this week because we are doing some discussions about the other new Mage the Ascension game that's hitting our Patreon. That's right, folks. You get 3 of them this year on top of this one. That's a lot of Mage. And with that, we'll see you next time. Good night, everybody.